I'm about to need her, I'll be real quick.
Hey guys, this is Carolina Diamond, Dr. Rogers, bringing you guys a reminder to remember to always protect your peace. At all costs, protect your peace. Remember that protecting your peace is also protecting your mental health. I want to thank you guys for watching the video. I hope that you get something out of it. And remember, protect your peace. Statistics show that 43.8 million Americans deal with some type of mental illness in any given year. 43.8 million. That's something to think about. Statistics also show that nearly 1 in 25, which is about 10 million people, deal with some type of serious mental illness in America. Now, a lot of people, when they think about mental illness, a lot of them think about, people having schizophrenia, people having bipolar disorder, being diagnosed with bipolar disorder, a lot of different things. But a mental illness can just simply be a prolonged period of you being sad or not being able to adjust to a situation. And I try to be careful about not saying mental illness. I like to say that people have mental health issues, because I think sometimes it's that illness word that throws things off. But if you think about your physical health, if you have a physical illness, then that illness needs to be addressed. So you think about the same thing with your mental health. If you have a mental illness, then that's also something that needs to be addressed, just like you address your physical health. So that's why it's important that we put this information out for people to know that it's okay. It's okay for you to go and get help. It's okay if you need help. At some point, everybody's going to need help. At some point in your life, in this lifetime, you are going to deal with some type of mental illness or mental health issue that you would need to seek some help with. And a lot of people won't. So I said that to say, one of the followers on the page, I can't think of his name right now, so forgive me for not remembering your name, but he suggested that I do a segment on addressing Black women and mental illness. I am going to address that, but I want to widen that a little bit, because I think it's bigger than just Black women dealing with mental illness. When I worked in a community mental health center some years ago, I saw very few. I saw some, but they were the more serious cases of mental illness. But on the most part, if I had to put a number on it, I would say maybe 75 to 80% of our clients were Caucasian versus maybe 15% being African American or of another persuasion. So what I saw with that is, it wasn't that we didn't have those issues in the community, because a lot of people like to think that we don't have those issues. It's just some groups are more willing to go and get that help, where others are more reluctant about getting that help because they don't like, or they don't want to think about what people may say about them, if they see them getting help or hear about them getting help. So they suffer in silence. I wrote an article for our mental health newsletter, and it was an article on the Superwoman syndrome. And it was about Black women having that Superwoman syndrome. We take on all these different roles. We take on all these different stressors as women, as wives, as moms, as aunts, as grandmas, so many different things. We take on all these different pressures on a daily basis. And rather than get some attention whenever we feel ourselves getting stressed or feeling like things are out of control, we basically just take everything on, we put it in a backpack, throw it on our backs, and we keep going like we're Superman until we get to the point where we crash. Everybody, even Superman, has kryptonite that'll knock him down. So we get to the point where we just crash, or we get so overwhelmed that the way that it comes out to others, it looks more the issue looks more serious than it is had we went ahead and addressed it from the beginning. So I would say even if it's, postpartum depression, a lot of women don't want to admit that they have it. I've seen a lot of women in the hospital after giving birth that were depressed, and they didn't want to call it depression. They didn't want to call it this postpartum depression because they were worried about what people would say about it. But as it went along, they finally got to the place where they knew they needed some help, or their spouse or family member saw that they needed some help, and they made sure that they came back to us to seek treatment. So there is some there. There's definitely some there, but it's just hard to get our group, our community, to go and get that mental health assistance as a whole. We just, a lot of the people that I saw, and I'm going to say a lot of my Black clients that I saw, they usually came when they were in crisis. And the goal is for you to go and get that help before you get to the point of being in crisis. If you see that there's a problem or something that you just feel like you can't address, and I'll say this too because I'm a counselor, but I'm also a life coach. So maybe you don't feel comfortable going to a counselor. Go to a coach. Go to somebody. Go to your pastor. Go to a family member or a friend that you are pretty sure won't go in and spread your business to everybody, but go to someone instead of just holding on to that information and sitting in silence, suffering in silence, and no one knows, because the thing is, no one can read our minds. And as women, we often say, well, you saw this and you saw that. Well, no one can read your mind. You walk around and we have this hard shell and we feel like we have to be strong for everyone. And I mean, if I look at you, I can't tell something's wrong. You're still looking as strong as ever and you're holding things down. So why would I assume that you were suffering in silence or going through something internally unless you told me? So that's why it's important for us to have those conversations. Have the conversation with your significant other. That's what he or she is there for. But we definitely need to have those conversations before it turns into something bigger and starts causing more trouble with us, whether it be at work, whether it be at home, out in public, like whatever we're doing. But it affects your life in many ways. So you need to make sure that you go and just talk to somebody. It doesn't have to be anything formal. Just talk to somebody. And if you're not comfortable with talking to someone, get you a notebook. I have one right here. Get you a notebook, and if you don't feel like talking to anybody, write it down. Start a journal. That's something that can help you, because if you're worried about someone telling your business, a book doesn't talk. I hope not, because if it does, that's a whole other story. But anyway. Yep, I said it. Protect your peace and protect your mental health, especially in these social media streets. Stay tuned as we dig into social media and mental health. This has been part 1. You guys stay tuned for part 2. I thank you for watching. Have a blessed day.